Mark my words, he will make a move on Turning Point because he's always been envious of Charlie Kirk. So unfortunately, the big news coming out of the latest America Fest is that the huge audience that they drew is being treated to speech after speech where members of the Trump coalition have been airing their grievances and dirty laundry for all to see. So what sense should we make of all of this? Well, one level, there's actually nothing new here. Okay, political coalitions often fracture upon achieving power. And the reason for that is simple. It's because they no longer have the unifying force of a shared enemy that they all oppose. And that disappearance also often reveals deep ideological, strategic, and interest-based divisions that were previously suppressed. So at one level, unfortunately, this is just par for the course when a political coalition comes to power. Whatever underlying disagreements were suppressed during the campaign now come to the surface, and everyone now wants their own faction to benefit the most from the newly achieved power. But that said, there is something very unique. We're in a very historical situation that we're facing today. There's what geopolitical theorists call the rise of a multipolar civilizationalist world. And there is genuine disagreement within the Trump coalition on how to respond to that world. So what do I mean by the Trump coalition? Let's start there, right? Well, the coalition is actually quite diverse. But bottom line, the Trump coalition can be seen as two major factions, two wings. You got the traditional Republican wing on the one hand. I just like to call them the Fox News wing. Okay, so this is the wing that voted for Reagan. They voted for both Bushes. They voted for Dole, McCain, Romney. So this is the traditional Republican base as represented by Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin and the like. But that Republican base, whether we like it or not, by itself can't win elections anymore. That's because the Bush coalition is dead. McCain, Romney, 16 of the Republicans' finest during the primary in 2016, they all found that out the hard way. The Bush coalition that barely allowed Bush to squeak by with back-to-back wins is dead. And what happened to revitalize the GOP is that Trump brought in with him a second wing, another faction that's proved to be far more powerful politically than anything we've seen in decades. And that's the MAGA wing. That's the faction made up of disaffected independent populists, made up of working class voters, Latinos, Gen Z men, who actually made up the core of the Obama coalition.